What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Wicked After Dark, where we talk about all things Halloween. My name is Anthony, and with me tonight we got Ashley and Jess.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
The man behind the cam, Andy. His trusty sidekick, Jimbo.
Still don't know why we get applause.
Because he's in charge of the board.
Oh, okay.
And a way different scenario. We're here with Fresko, the owner of Metabolic Brewing Co.
How's it going, guys?
We're doing something different.
We're on
fit that in for
location.
you.
There you go. Thanks for having
You're
me.
welcome.
You have to.
We're on location, not in a room. You know what I mean?
In a
It's been
room,
a
not
while.
our room.
Yeah, it's
We're
been
in
a while.
a tap room.
As you can see by the dope art behind us, you know.
That's actually their logo there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the logo. That's sick.
Neat colors.
Thank you, guys.
And this was all done by you, right? You guys hand painted these things.
Yeah, so this mural actually was not me. This is the one artwork.
You're like,
where
this
it
is the
wasn't-
one that you put on camera, dude. I didn't even do that one. Thanks.
No, this is something that I really wanted to have. I wanted to have a nice, strong mural with our name. I designed the logo, so that's
Gotcha.
me. The logo's me, 100%. But all the art that goes with it, that was a OC artist, actually.
Okay.
That designed this mural. Looks Did a
dope.
phenomenal job.
Really
And,
good.
Yeah, and then everything else, I know you can't see it in this setting, but yeah, people just have to come here and they'll see all
Definitely.
the other,
Definitely. We
cool,
Can't
you
put
know,
too much out there.
artistry.
Yeah, come check it out for sure. I think my favorite is the tap area, though, where you
Yeah.
have like the whole
Yeah.
X-ray thing back
Yeah.
there. You know,
Yeah, I
the-
definitely take pride in that. That was actually the first thing we did. Working in healthcare, I did work radiology for a little bit, and I just wanted to have X-rays. You know, we had human X-rays. Customers could give their X-rays and just kind of call it the wall of pain,
Yeah.
broken bones and stuff. And then we just kind of just put creatures up there right now, like
Yeah.
animals and stuff. But we're gonna change it up. But it's fun. And then everything else, like the pipe maze we have over the tap. So it's just
Right.
like experiments leading into the beers and all that.
Gotcha.
Very
Awesome.
unique.
Very, no, 100% unique.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good word to use for the whole vibe here. I think that's why we're so drawn to it. We did notice we follow each other on social media and
Yeah.
stuff. So I was like, well, let's check it out. I like beer. They like beer.
We
you know
actually
what I mean?
haven't done one of these where we interviewed someone in a little while.
Our
so,
viewers will be happy.
Yeah, they're like, about time. I was
Finally,
bored.
someone
Sorry,
else's
I was
face.
bored. But online, we did some, digging. Like, oh, this looks sick.
Yeah.
We're big drinkers. Oh, sorry. So like, let's check it out. And I think Katie or my dad actually
I
brought
did.
it up
My
to
dad,
us.
yeah.
Dad brought it up to us. So this is our second time here, and it's still like the environment.
You're still trying to take it all in. I
Yeah,
think
the
we're-
environment. I love the environment. I'm an environment person. Like, if I don't like the environment, I'm gonna be like, ooh,
You don't like the vibe?
Yeah, the
Well,
vibe
I
here is
appreciate
great.
that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that's why you don't like a lot of breweries because it's
Yeah.
It had to be eye appealing.
Yes.
That was my
Yeah.
number one before we opened because we were completely decked out before we were licensed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's a whole long story, but the short version is we just basically wanted to make this somewhere where there was a vibe,
Right.
and
Yeah.
people would enjoy being here,
Right.
and then the beer would speak for
Complement it,
itself.
right.
Yeah,
Definitely,
exactly.
yeah. I want to spend time in here. You want to
Yeah.
take pictures and picture moments. So, we actually did film some content for our social media, our TikTok and Instagram. We'll be posting soon too.
Yeah.
Along with
We
this,
wanted
so.
to wait until the podcast,
Cool.
And then-
So I hope you're ready
push.
for some questions, Fresko. I know we got quite a bit of them, so
We sent-
sir.
we're going
we
to try to
sent
get
some
through
over.
them.
It's only 27.
Ashley
I'm
and
sorry.
Katie got
It's only
carried away
100.
here. By the time we're done with this, we're going to know what your favorite,
Foods
restaurant
are.
is to eat and whatnot. So.
So, how long have you been in the brewing, environment?
I've been in the brewing industry for, I want to say, not too long actually. It's been about 5 years.
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so 5 years in the industry, but I did like to homebrew for about 7.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't a great home brewer. I'll be
Right.
completely
Is that
honest,
where
I
you buy
wasn't
like
good.
that little machine?
So
a little home setup machine?
I mean, there are you can get the kit, and
Okay,
I
that
did
one.
start that way with like a malt extract kit, and
Okay.
just kind of like went the easy route.
Uh-huh.
And then over time, I tried to experiment more. And one of my friends, so I said I worked in healthcare. Actually, my friend who was at the hospital with me, he actually was saying, "Oh, you should meet Jose." I'm like, "Oh, who's Jose?" He's the director of the pharmacy. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just happened to see him in the hallway with his lab coat and everything.
Yeah.
Just like, "Hey, man, you make beer?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool." And then he invited me to his club.
Oh,
And
wow.
we just hit it off and became friends and just started, making beer, and it was fun. Man.
Okay, so that evolved real quick
I mean,
over to like
because beer's a science, and a
100%.
pharmacist, he knows how to he knows science.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, he was a
Add
good
here and
mentor.
there.
Yeah, that's shout out to my buddy Jose over in Coachella Valley.
Gotcha.
Oh, nice.
So definitely 5 years of brewing, right, and
Yeah.
making your own beer. But before that, were you a fan of like going to breweries and checking out different beer, or was it more focused just at being at home and making your own and
So-
tasting your own?
I'll just kind of do a little correction there. So I was in the brewery industry, but I actually didn't start as a brewer. I started in the front side. So I
gotcha.
started as a bartender, and then I just worked my way for the brewery I worked my way to doing their draft line cleaning, and I assisted the brewers. And there was an opportunity for me to become a brewer, but it was at that specific spot. It says you get to choose. You either bartend or you brew. And I was just like, well, I really love the bar side. I love the interaction, so I'll just
Right.
stay at the bar.
Gotcha.
And then they ended up needing me more and ended up helping more. And yeah, I just kind of worked my way up. And then I was still a home brewer. And I became friends with a lot of people in the industry and learned from a lot of other brewers. And then this spot came up for sale, and I was like, I got to get this spot. I got to
Like,
do it.
this is it.
And I pulled
This
the
is
trigger,
it.
man. Yeah.
Nice.
Only way to do it, jump in head first.
Yep.
No, I think that for anybody, I think that's the best because we have family even. What do you think? I got this idea. You know, how did you guys do it? And it's kind of like, it's literally that like, hey, man, if you really want to do it, you firmly believe in it, right?
Yeah.
Do it. Right?
That's
Jump
what I
into
tell
it.
people too. It's like if you have a passion for something, no matter what it is, I mean, it's not going to be work. You
Right.
know, I mean, it's work to get it to go,
Yeah.
to get
Right.
it to happen. But once you're doing it, it's I'll be here for sometimes 18 hours, and it's just a day of fun for me. you know?
Right. So not in our questionnaire, but so you don't really see this then as your job anymore, right?
No.
It's more of a hobby, something, a passion for
Yeah,
you.
it really is. And to tell you the truth, I mean, with everything I do here, and just obviously my team, I have a great team of people that help. But I mean, it's everything I do is it's fun, and it's something that I enjoy, and I wouldn't change it. I mean, I worked in the hospital for years, for
Yeah.
like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And
That sounds stressful.
yeah, I mean, and I was in respiratory. I also worked in other departments as well. And, nothing against the healthcare industry. It's a great industry, but I yearned to do something else.
Right.
And once I had an opportunity, I just fell in love with it.
Nice.
I mean, especially during the pandemic, that's what kind of separated me. And I just wanted to get out of healthcare for a little bit.
Right.
Took a break, or shall I say, a little hiatus,
Right.
And then I just never turned back, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so the pandemic was kind of that it for you then? Like, nah, you know what?
Yeah, I mean,
push.
there was a little stint where I did go back to the hospital for a couple years, but I was still in the industry.
Uh-huh.
And, and that was before we bought this spot. And then we bought the spot, and then it took us forever to get licensed. That's a whole other story as well.
Yeah.
But we finally did. And when we did get licensed, that's when I said, you know what, I need to be here. I need to work on growing this business.
Right.
So I told my wife I need to step away, and she's like, absolutely. And she's a nurse, so she works full time as a nurse. So she said, you know what, you manage the business and handle it, and I'll just keep doing what we gotta do. And
Nice.
that's what we're
Awesome.
doing.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Teamwork.
That's awesome when you have the support to back you too and
This-
push you to get to where you want to get in your goals. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and my wife is, even though she works full time as a nurse, she's still the business manager of this spot. I mean,
Okay.
I couldn't do this without her. I mean, she literally handles the backside. I mean,
Right.
I'm the operations, and she handles all the other
She's the-
stuff
she's
that
the
people.
accountant.
Yeah,
There you go.
The studious stuff. that's
yeah.
like, oh, man.
There's
okay.
a lot. There's a lot to a business.
there's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, dang.
and she works at the bar
Never
too on
ending.
Saturdays too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she loves being here on Saturdays, and sometimes she'll be here on a Sunday as well.
Oh, wow.
But I don't want her to work every single day, so I try to make her take Sunday off, and I
Yeah.
take Sunday off with her. But
Right, right.
things happen to where obviously staff can't be there, so then I'll have to be here. But, yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
So is that where obviously the designs came from your previous passion of being in the
Yeah, so it just the theme metabolic is very science themed, but I'm also a huge nerd, so I wanted to make it kind of like mad science, and
Right.
I also love retro, so 80s, 90s, and so we have
That's where that coloring
the
came
the
from.
bright
huh?
colors,
Yep.
bright pink,
Yeah.
bright green, slime green, and just kind of like everything just came together. And in the early stages, I had some potential business partners, and they didn't see my vision, and they were just like, "Oh, that sounds weird. It's too much stuff mixed together." But I knew what I wanted,
Yeah.
and once it was done and we created this, people came, even some of those people are like, oh, this is what you meant. I'm like, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's
You missed it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I'm thinking of like a C-rate freaking horror film. Like that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
It
Nice.
looks great. It looks really good.
Thank you.
So what's
These.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking about how it's related to horror, but I see some feet and hands back here.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole vibe. The whole vibe.
Yeah,
you
it's
know, I
just
like the retro feel. You can definitely
Scientists that
feel
went
it.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
You got limbs, you
Literally
got
a mad
creatures,
scientist.
you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
cool.
And we're not even done decorating. We're gonna put even more stuff in here. It's just gonna be like just a cesspool of craziness. you
Yeah.
know?
Nice.
In a good way.
So you are a big Halloween and horror fan as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big horror fan. I love the alternative scene as well. So we're known for having like our goth night and a lot of we've had metal shows here. We had a beer that was a collab with my friend's metal band. Shout out to Blind Wolf in Orange County.
Oh, nice.
Amazing band. And we try to do things that are a little on the edgier side, but we're all nice, kind people. We may
Right.
look different,
Intimidating.
but we're all sweethearts, right?
Right.
There
I
you
trust
go.
me. It's so funny you hit that on the head, because we may look a little different because people look at you how you see our hats or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
well, this is year round. Matter of fact, I was just quick story. I was just at Disneyland and I go like this, and the cast member says, "Oh, Halloween already?" I was like, "What do you mean already, dude?" Like, no, it's normal.
So,
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
This is what it is, brother. We just love the whole vibe. We love we're
100%.
the alternative theme, the music, just the whole thing.
There's even like a halfway to Halloween thing now in Riverside.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just
yeah.
happened, and it's like we can't wait, till October. Let's do a halfway to Halloween.
Right.
And I love that.
Well,
yeah.
literally shows for Halloween kick off heavy July.
Yeah.
Right? End of July.
I know we're booked up starting
yeah.
July.
August
July
is just
on.
crazy amount of events coming,
Yeah.
August is just into September. It looks insane.
Yeah.
But
That's the fun in it though. There's Halloween year round almost. You know what I mean? You get to
especially
celebrate all
for
year.
us, it's a lifestyle, like he said. We used to get
Oh,
that
it's a business.
every day, especially when we did the fair. We used to do the fair.
Yeah.
And that was the number one thing because it's in May. It just passed. But people were like, "Isn't it too early for this? Like, this is like Christmas year round." I was like, "It's not the same, but you know what? It is what it is.
Halloween.
Not everyone gets it. It's all right.
You're right. You can leave your Christmas decor up year
You
round. Go
can.
ahead.
Yeah. So
Unless you're in an HOA, don't do that.
No, for real.
you'll get a ticket.
Don't get that ticket.
So you mentioned you started with brewing from home. So
Yeah.
how do you choose the style of brewing you're going to do here and bring in, the types of beers that you do?
So another thing we're known for is doing very unique beers. So in the brewery world, a lot of beers are traditional. You have your traditional lagers, pilsners, and IPAs, West Coast or hazy, and then you have your dark beers and everything. But something I like to do is adjunct some of the beers. So we'll have different fruits or different spices. Like a beer we're known for is our rosemary IPA, and even when we opened, we had it on tap. And some friends of mine were just saying, "Oh, well, that's kind of unique to open with a beer like that. You should just do beers that are going to sell well." And I said, "You know what? I feel it in my gut. It's one of my favorite brews that we did on the homebrew. We got to do on a larger scale. We got to open with this beer." And to everyone's surprise, it was like our top beer.
Nice.
And it just showed that people are interested in trying unique styles and
For sure.
unique beers and flavors, And the thing I loved about that is that even though it's an IPA, a lot of people that don't even like IPAs like that beer because it has a lot of character and, just having aroma and flavor.
Right.
Yeah.
All of our beers are all about flavor. And I will try everything ahead of time. And if I don't think it's good, we're not going to serve it,
Right.
So, that's just how we are. But not all of our beers are adjunct beers. We do traditional beers too, like a classic style Irish red or Irish stout or German lager, so
Right.
Czech Pilsner. We
Right.
do traditional Hefeweizen as well. But I like to change it up and have those unique ones. And then also we're known for our seltzer cocktails, which not really many people do.
Right. Which
And-
that's what Jessica has right
Yeah,
now,
the
right?
fruit punch right there. So
Looks
we actually
delicious.
do a 15% seltzer, and then we dilute it down with the mixtures and the ice, and then it kind of brings it down to like a 10%.
Oh, wow.
So most cocktails are about that anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But with liquor, it's more proof, and then with with what we do with beer and seltzer, it's more ABV, and so that's when you
Right.
see that number, people get freaked. But you already drink that anyway when you go to a regular bar.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
If
When
you
you
ask
get
for
your
just a straight
margarita.
shot or something,
Right.
you know.
Right. Jessica, she's not the beer drinker. She's a seltzer drinker.
Yeah.
So she said it's really good.
It is really good.
I took a sip too. It's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we are going to be bringing our hard hop water, which is
Ooh.
basically it's a lower ABV seltzer, so it's going to be around 5 to 6%. But it is, and everyone will tell you with Metabolic, we like to make it interesting. So it's basically seltzer, but it's infused with hops. And we're also going to have flavoring. Like we have two new ones coming out. We have a strawberry golden kiwi, and then we also have a chocolate habanero hard hop water coming out soon.
And that's something new, right?
Yeah.
I
So
haven't
these
seen
these
that.
come out in the next week, and then well, actually, I take that back. So those ones specifically are going to be for our anniversary in July.
Okay.
But they'll be ready in a week. But yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
serve them.
In July.
We're going to wait till our anniversary. So there's a spoiler right there.
There you go.
But we're going to have 4 beer releases for anniversary
Oh, damn.
on July
Or
5th.
July 5th.
Nice.
That's fun.
So
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit. You did say that you do offer your traditional beers here then. So even if you're not into,
Yeah.
like my dad, for example, he's not really into trying like the whole menu. Because usually, do you guys sell help me out here.
A flight?
Do you guys
Yeah.
sell flights here?
Yeah, we do flights. So if people just want to try, we do flights of 4. So
Okay.
if they're like, you know what, we kind of want to do a splash of something, and then I'll just suggest, or they'll just straight up ask,
Right.
like, oh, can I just get a flight? Or I'll say, you want to try just maybe 4 beers instead of just doing like 1.
Yeah.
And especially if it's their first time, then yeah, they can get to try 4 of our different beer styles. We have the light ones, the hoppy ones, and the different ones.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's neat too. That the fact that you can cater to everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody that's gonna just want a traditional beer, or something like us that I want to try whatever's new.
I just didn't want to be one of those breweries where people come in like it's literally all IPAs.
Yeah.
Like I hear that so much, and people are like, you know what? It's like they have maybe 1 light beer or 1 dark beer, and it's all IPAs. And it's like, and I'll be honest with you, I enjoy IPAs. I truly do.
Okay.
But I'm personally more of a light beer drinker.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're most known for. On our menu right now, we actually have more hoppy beers than we usually have. We usually have more light beers, but, that's kind of what we're known for. But
Right.
like I said, even one of our lightest beers right now is our cucumber light lager hydration process, and people
Which I had the
that
last
beer
time
so
we were
much.
here. It was really
Delicious.
good, real light.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm having, actually.
I was
It's only
gonna-
4%.
I was going to
super
say,
light.
along the lines of the question that
Yeah.
was the start of this part of the conversation was, how do you come up with your beers? And I know before we started, you had mentioned that sometimes you have dreams about them.
Yeah, so I'm always thinking about this business, but not just everything that's not fun. I'm thinking about the fun stuff, which is the beer itself and the seltzers. And I just started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? People have been bugging me and asking me to do seltzer on a lower ABV because all of ours are cocktails. And I said, you know what? I do want to bring back a low ABV seltzer, but let's infuse it with some hops and then just do some unique flavors. And, some of these other beers, I think of like doing something unique. Like we had a raspberry balsamic IPA.
Ooh.
I love salad, and so a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know, but
Same.
I have a food business as well, Fresko Eats, and so I like to do food pairings with beer. And so like I said, I'm a big salad guy, and I was just thinking raspberry balsamic on a salad, have a beer that matches it. Boom,
Sounds
there you go.
delicious.
Well, did that come to? Did you end up making that?
Yeah, we actually did. We had it. It's called Resuscitation. We had it probably like 4 or 5 months ago. People were surprised by it not being too vinegary. It was
Right.
like the right balance. And even that rosemary IPA I was talking about, the fully compensated, I food paired that with a burger I make for my food business called, it was a peach compote burger. So it's a Southern style burger. So it's basically peaches. They're marinated in rosemary, brown sugar, and beer.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
marinated with our rosemary beer. And it was like a food pairing. So you get that burger with that rosemary with the beer rosemary as well.
Gotcha. Hold on.
Sorry, guys. I think it's mine.
Some type,
No,
of,
it's not that. Let's say a headphone.
some type of technical difficulties here as always.
Hey, that means we take a drink.
There
That's
we go.
right.
Drink to that.
Drink to that
Cheers.
one.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, empty.
You guys are supposed to sip, not
Oh,
chug.
my bad, dog. It's warmer over here.
Is it? There, it's still coming back.
Back.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
like a
Some
bees
buzz,
in here.
like a low hum.
Buzzing.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
So
Get
when
some
it comes to
connection.
decision making, there's obviously so many options
Yeah.
up there. Who gets that? Like, is it just you? Or like, you know what? I'm gonna sit in my office and I think this is the beers we should have. Or do you kind of bounce it off of somebody, whether it be your wife or?
And this is actually fun you asked that. So I will say majority of them are myself with the names and with the ideas. I have a great team. I have Vince, he's actually the head brewer, and he's a phenomenal brewer. And he came from some really well-known breweries and just had a lot of expertise. And he basically would take my vision and make it better. And he's made me a better brewer. And then also with some of our beers right now, like we just our rye beer, so it's called all rye. So I'm a big McConaughey fan, so that's what it was
Okay.
inspired by.
That's
And we actually just recently won a silver medal for that from the California State Fair.
Oh,
It's our
nice.
first award, so we're officially award-winning brewery now. So I can say
Nice.
that with pride because
There you go.
I'm very proud of that beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got but that beer actually was it was for a friend of mine. So one of my close friends, David Picard, he works at a brewery. You may know it, Brewery X, over in
And he-
Anaheim.
okay,
And he's been a friend of mine for many years. And he actually was. So when we first opened, we did a Kickstarter to get us going, get the ball rolling. And he was one of the 5 people that give us a significant amount of money to get us going. And so what our Kickstarter deal was, like, whoever would, help us in a high scale, we would do a beer for you. And we would basically brew whatever style you want, and you can name it, and we will, just kind of, market it and stuff. And so that beer was for him. He wanted a rye beer, and he's like me, and we both love McConaughey. So he's like, yeah, let's call it all rye. And I was like, it's nothing to do with science or mad science.
Right.
But we're true to what we say. So you look at
Right.
our menu, it's all like sciencey, like crazy names, and then you see that one.
And then there's that one, yeah.
But that's the one we win an
Right.
award for.
Nice.
Honestly,
But-
they're all look appealing. The names, like
Thank you.
you want to be like, let's try that. Like Vitamin Blood, which was Anthony.
Yeah,
you
I
had
take
that.
pride in
Yeah,
that
that's
name. That was a name I dreamt about, actually.
This is
Really?
probably,
Okay.
I mean,
There's the
it's
dream.
really, it's not overbearing with, like,
Thank
how a
you.
lot of beers will have the orange.
Super
leaf,
orange.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
God damn, I just licked an orange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this one's, like, perfectly balanced, I
Thank
feel,
you.
But a
Yeah.
lot of your beers, I had the cucumber the last time we were here, very light, and I'm not a fan of the very light stuff, but this, again, just the balance of it. I know that you're a
Flavors.
fan of
Yeah.
the light beer, so very, very tasty. In
Yeah,
general.
even if it's light, it still has character and it's still
Right.
tasty, and that's our thing,
Definitely achieving that goal and making the beers taste good.
Yeah. So you mentioned you brew everything in house here.
Yeah, everything's brewed in house. So I have Vince, and we also have Sergio, who helps us as well, and then myself.
Okay. So,
So-
walk us through that process. How long does it take you to brew one beer?
So a beer typically will take anywhere from 8 to 11, 12 hours, depending on the style.
Right.
And also our system, we have a 7-barrel system, and just kind of how it's all laid out. Any brewer or brewery will always kind of say, hey, we can knock a brew day out in 5 hours, or we can knock it out in like 6 or 7. And then other brewers will be like, no, our brew day is like 8 to 10 hours or something like that. So it all depends on style as well. Like a IPA, hazy IPA will kind of take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
There's more additions of hops and stuff you have to do.
Yeah.
Everything matters because with hops, you'll do like a 30-minute addition, or sometimes you'll do, a 90-minute addition, and there's different times. So everything is very time sensitive with brewing. That's the thing that people don't understand, is that aren't in the brewing industry, is that there's so many different things that matter. And then also with like your water profile, and also doing like the different salts that you have to add,
man.
lactic acid or whatever acid, phosphoric, whatever you add. I mean, there's certain things you have to add, and it's all things you have it in your recipe already, but just knowing and being able to get it prepped and ready before you add it.
Right.
I mean,
The
there's-
science behind it.
yeah,
Literally.
so there's all these things. Yeah. So, but it's fun, and I love it. And like I said, I've learned a lot from Vince, and Sergio has too. And yeah, like we have a good flow here, and we have had a lot of friends come hang out and observe brew days and have a helping hand. Like even the rye beer, Picard was here for a little bit. He threw some hops in, so it
Right.
was fun.
And the seltzers as well. Is that like an 8-hour day
So
as well?
seltzers are actually the shortest.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So with seltzer, it's basically just dextrose and water, and then you just add yeast at the end, so you don't have to grain out, which means you don't have to pull out any grain. And with brewing, spent grain basically goes, well, we give ours to farmers so
Nice.
they can actually pick it up. So we try to, give back and give it to farmers so animals can at least, use it instead of just throwing it away,
Right.
That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah, it does us a favor by taking it from us, the local farm, and then they get to feed their animals. Yeah.
Nice.
But seltzer
Yeah.
doesn't do that. Yeah, it's just there's no grain at all.
So you said 8 to 12 hours, right? Is that just one beer, or are you guys doing multiple flavors at a
That's
time?
one beer. That's
one flavor.
That's one flavor, one beer, one day. Yeah, it's extensive work. It's a lot of work, and that's why I give a lot of respect to brewers, and it's kind of a unsaid thing in the industry that brewers work the hardest but get paid the less. The least.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bartenders, make a lot of tips, and
Yeah.
and I will say, because I do both sides, so the front of house is very important because that's who people see, and that's
Right.
what who people get to know.
100%.
And that's the face of your company essentially is your bar staff, and they work very hard to grow your business that way, and customer service, everything. So there's a
Right.
lot of things on that side, but then on the brewing side, it's a lot of hard labor because there's slip hazards, fire hazards, wet hazards. There's all kinds of stuff.
Right.
But those who do it, they love it. It's
Yeah.
like they
Right.
do it because they love it. And, at the end of the day, that's why they're done with a long brew day. They just want to sit down, enjoy some beers, And we're not going to lie. There's a certain point where you'll drink on the brew day, but, you don't do it for the first, a good brewer shouldn't do it for the first, 4 to 5 hours, But towards the end, you could drink a little bit,
Right.
I really like that here in your, you can see through the glass here and into your guys's.
Yeah, that was actually something that I did. So when we bought this spot, it was an existing brewery. It was a lot different in here. They didn't have any windows or any kind of paint. It was just one color. And I really wanted to have a window where I could see the tanks, because I think that's a big draw for a brewery is when you go to a brewery,
100%.
that you get to sit at the bar or just be in the tasting room and you could look out oh, there's the tanks. Because people will come here and they'll see the whole vibe and be like, oh, this is a nice little horror bar. And then they look over to the window like, oh, shoot, it's a brewery. It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a brewery. Even though it's so themed and everything, we make our beer,
Right. I think that for me, that's a big draw. Anytime I go to a brewery, it's like, where are their tanks at?
Yeah.
Because some of them, I've been to some breweries where their tanks are towering
Oh,
inside
yeah.
those
Huge,
places.
yeah.
You
There
know
are
what
some
I mean?
big ones,
But
yeah.
they're supplying half of the, Southern California, you know what I mean? So, but I think every single one I've been to, they have a very unique way of displaying their tanks. Some are open walled with just a rope across of them. Some are like this, but it's definitely a draw to see, you're drinking the beer that came out of that right there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's always fun.
I like that there's a lot of a variety on your menu too. Like if you're not a beer drinker, you have beer cocktails, and which I've never seen a beer cocktail.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the seltzer cocktails. So that's really cool too. Like if you have an array of stuff, it's not just for beer drinkers.
Yeah. We try to tailor to everybody because we have actually some of our regulars that don't drink any of our beers. They've never even tried our beer. They just come for the seltzer and for the vibe.
Oh,
There you
wow.
Yeah, some of them would come and they just came with friends and they just fell in love with the spot. Actually, 2 of them became close friends now, and with one of my employees, just
no.
one of the guys that works here, and they just would come and hang out, and then they started drinking the seltzer, and they really started loving my fruit punch actually, and also the electric lemonade. And
Okay.
so that's all they drink. I mean, they don't drink anything else, but they love those. And I've told them about my hop water that's coming out soon, and they're excited for that.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not going to be overly hoppy. It's just going to have the hop aroma,
Right.
and then it's going to have some flavoring as well.
Right.
So and it'll be lower ABV. So yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite beer to drink here, and your favorite one to make?
So I'll first say my favorite currently that's on the menu, and then I'll say my favorite that we've ever made. So
Okay.
right now, currently is Hydration Process, which is the Cucumber Light Lager.
Okay.
It's just a nice, refreshing light beer, and that's why I named it Hydration Process. Is because even though beer technically dehydrates you, it tastes like cucumber water, which is one of the most refreshing, hydrating
yeah.
things you can
Oh,
have.
yeah.
And we purposely made it to where it just be super light and just super refreshing, and it's just so crisp, and I could drink it all day,
Right.
honestly. And
Yeah.
but I still have to drink water when I drink, just
Right.
But and then overall, my favorite beer we've ever done is the rosemary, is the fully compensated the rosemary West Coast. Yeah.
Okay.
In your opinion, like, what is an underrated beer? Like, people need to give it a shot.
Of our beers or any beer?
Any beer. We'll go any beer.
Okay. So I think that too many people will see probably a Hefeweizen
Okay.
and just kind of think like, oh, well, I don't really like Hefeweizens because they're too clovey or too much, most people know of Blue Moon. Like, that's the most popular, like, Hefeweizen
Yep.
in the U.S. sells, and nothing against Blue Moon, It's a very nice light beer, but it doesn't really have that traditional hef flavor, not prominently. And that's why ours is called a traditional hef, the painkiller, because we wanted to really capitalize on that strong flavor.
Right.
But it's a flavor I think is very pronounced, and it's great, and that's something that's gone around for centuries, that in Germany that started that style, and Belgium has a lot of beers as well with the same, like, wit beers have the same kind of like flavor, the clovey banana kind of flavor, and most people nowadays, they just want lagers or IPAs.
Yeah. It
Or
seems like a
sours
trend
now.
right now,
Or
right?
sour,
That's what
yeah.
everybody
But that style, I think, is a style, that really is kind of like under the radar, but they're really nice. If you start drinking them more, you really start to appreciate them. Absolutely.
That's definitely an eye opener for me because I'm the boring guy. IPA or what I mean, something just either one of these. Which one you got? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That's
You
usually
try to
what
stick to a short list.
But
of
that was
beers.
great. I'm definitely gonna get into that. 'Cause
Yeah, try it out.
I do like. I'm a big fan of the Blue Moon. I'm sorry. I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of Blue Moon.
He
So
is.
just have an open mind when you drink ours if you try it, because it's definitely more pronounced. For
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I think too, for myself, just speaking on, trying new beers, is I'm very boring.
Yeah.
If I'm going out, it's like a Michelob,
Yeah.
something light.
Well, you like the light stuff.
I like light
beer.
stuff too, but I think I'm trying to expand my palate too.
Yeah.
Try different beers, darker beers.
Yeah.
My husband started that way too. At first, he didn't even like beer, and now he's trying all these crazy stuff. I'm like, okay. So I'm really trying to expand my palate too, and and take in the different flavors of things, because I never realized the amount of stuff that goes into making these beers. The little
Right.
hints of flavor and
Yeah.
the little spices they add to it, which I think it's crazy, because you're like, oh, if you really pay attention, you will actually taste that. Or you will
Right.
actually smell that.
I think that's one of my favorite parts. So when I had this beer, and correct me if I'm wrong,
You're
'cause
wrong,
I could
I'm
be
just kidding.
crazy in the head. But when I drank that beer, for some reason I taste the cucumber, but the after flavor of like a wheat would stay in my mouth. Is that even close to?
So that beer does not have wheat, but,
Interesting.
but there are some beers that do.
Okay.
100%. And, like, we add torrefied wheat to some of our, like, hazies, and it just adds more body to the beer.
Okay. But just
and
those,
it helps with, like, what they call head retention. So, having more foam and stuff. And that's another thing I could tell you as well with beers, is having nice foam is aroma.
Right.
So when you get a beer with this not too much head, then it just means there's less aroma. You want to
Gotcha.
get more of it. Yeah.
Gotcha. And dude, beer is literally a damn science.
Literally.
There's so much.
I'm still learning, man. And like I said, man, and most of my friends that have been in the industry a lot longer, they're just like, yeah, you're still learning, but we know that you love it. I was like, absolutely, I love it. And
Right.
I'm still trying to learn.
You can tell right out the
reading
gate.
books and stuff.
Yeah, with
know?
you. You can tell how passionate you are about the whole
Yeah.
area. You know what I mean? You're not one of those guys, I got to open the doors, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
serve up these people that want to know. You're very
Yeah.
passionate about it, from the brewing to the tap room. You know what I mean? You stated yourself how important it is to be in the tap room, and you kind of have to have the right people in the tap room. You don't want to
Absolutely.
put somebody up there with a sour attitude. Or
No,
who's
so
not gonna
everyone I have that helps me are great people. I
Right.
mean, they're just, and most of them were customers, and they just loved us, and they wanted to work here. And I said, I could probably get you on like at least one day a week. Or
Right,
whatever.
right,
And
right.
Most of them work like one day a week, but they help out, and it gives me a day off,
Right.
and they love beer, and that's the
Right.
thing for me, is like people that love beer and like know beer and can actually talk to people about beer.
Right.
I'm not just gonna hire some random person that I don't care if they're pretty or not.
Right.
But my people are pretty. But I'm just saying. It's like you have to know
Right,
the
what you're
product,
talking
and when you
about.
talk to customers, you have to be able to, have be able to explain the beers.
Right. Yeah, that's very important. I feel very
Yeah.
important. We went recently. We went wine tasting for the first time.
Okay.
And I ran into my first guy. Mind you, wine tasting isn't cheap.
No, it's not.
And I'm not. I don't drink wine. And I ran into my first experience with it. I just did not click with that guy. I was ready to jump over the counter and ask him
Oh,
to,
wow.
you know what I mean? But we didn't have to get to that point. But I actually gave it to her husband. Said, hey man, go ahead and grab me this. I'm gonna walk away because this guy's pissing me off.
Very
Vibe was
rude,
off,
very-
dude. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I spent a lot
Kinda
of money.
rude.
Like, brother, I don't give a
Yeah.
damn if you're the biggest brewery on the block, the biggest
They were.
winery on the block, which it was. Or the smallest. You don't act like that. That's why it's so important again to give that. Have the right person up there.
And that's the other thing of what you're saying right there. Like, I have zero tolerance for people being condescending.
Right. And that's exactly what it
and
was.
if I have people come to the bar, and I've had customers that are just, you can tell they're a beer snob, and they just have all these different questions, and they're just like critiquing everything, and I'll answer them the best I can. If some of my staff need help, then I'll come in if I'm there, and I'll answer the best that I can. And then you'll have the other customers that really have no idea about anything about beer, and I treat them with respect, just like I would with someone that has a lot of
Right,
beer knowledge, and just try and educate them a little bit if they're willing to hear it. Sometimes they're
Right.
just like, oh, just give me something that's like this or that, or something. Some people say, oh, I just want something strong, It's like, it's like, okay,
what
I
bars up the
know
road,
where you're
buddy.
at, bro. It's like, oh, yeah, you at the liquor store.
Yeah, keep an eye on that
Yeah,
guy.
but it's like you just have to tailor to your customers, man,
Yeah.
because that's what keeps you going,
Right.
Right.
And I try to be friendly for everybody, personable, and that's one thing I take pride in as well. That a lot of my customers have become family, have become like friends. And if you guys can look over there, I have my Beaker Club. So we have 60 members. 60 people wanted to be members of this brewery because they love us and because they wanted
Really?
to be
60?
60 people.
Wow.
So
okay.
explain that. What is
So
that
we,
about?
So we have what's called the Beaker Club membership, and it's basically you pay for an annual membership, and it includes a 20-ounce mug. So you pay for your regular pint, but you get 4 extra ounces every pour. So you get enough 20-ounce pour for the price of 16,
Because you're a member.
and then you get 10% off all the merch. But on top of that, I do a quarterly members night. The next one's June 10th. And all of our members get to come, only Beaker members, and I cater food, $5 beers for all the members all night long.
Wow.
And we just have a nice little private thing,
So those what are they called again?
It's called the
Beaker
Beaker
Club.
Club membership.
Beakers. Okay, so the beaker, those are for them exclusively. Those
Yes.
cups.
So they come in and they're all numbered 1 through 60. So I'll have, let's just say this customer that's a regular comes in and says, oh, I'm number 7 or I'm number
Okay.
8 or
And-
number
and-
53. It's like,
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
That's
So
interesting.
I just grab their mug and I just fill it up. And,
And
a
it's
lot of them I
only
know.
theirs.
It's all like, oh, hey, what's up, Jeff? You want vitamin blood? Yeah, I want vitamin blood. And they got his number.
So
and
you're
I fill
paying
it up.
for the initial beer, but you get your extra 4 ounces on top of that because you're a member.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're still paying the normal price for
Right.
the beer, but you're getting extra 4 ounces because it's in your own personalized mug.
Right.
And
That's
you get
what I
to
like too.
add
It's
stickers
their
to
mug.
'em.
Yeah. That's no wonder I was
That's
like, I was
nice.
like, damn,
Yeah,
someone
people
has
customize them
stickers.
themselves. 2 of them actually over there are completely wrapped. So they went to somewhere and had the mug actually wrapped like you
Wow.
would your car.
And they leave them here, and you guys take care of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
awesome.
So they leave them here. We wash them, clean them. Obviously, when they come in, we grab their mug, we wash it, then we fill it with whatever beer, and then at the end of the night, we wash it again.
Wow.
And just put it up.
And is this you said it's an annual fee?
It's
so
an
it's
annual
a one-time fee, and it's good for 12 months.
It's good for the whole year. So the way we do it, though, and some other breweries do this as well, is that it goes live in January.
Okay.
And if they don't get it the first month, they can get it in February, and it's to be $10 less.
Gotcha.
They wait till March, it's $20 less. They wait till April, it's $30, and all the way until May. So we just had our final one because
Gotcha.
we don't want to go past that. So $150 was like the last price for the membership. They still get half a year of membership.
Right.
But yeah, that's like the end of it. And we actually sold our last one recently, so we have all
Nice.
60 now.
That's cool. That's
Nice.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's
never heard of that.
No, I've never. Like I said,
Costco.
me and my buddies used to. Me and my buddies used to have an app where we would travel, have nights. All right, guys, we're gonna hit these 4 or 5 breweries. obviously we'd make it to like 3 because none of us would be okay to drive at that point. But we'd have the app where we'd mark it down in the app. Oh, cool. Yeah, that was pretty good. Or that was shit. We're not coming back to that one. But no, I haven't seen that though. A membership style. That's genius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it opens back up again in January.
Yeah, so January of 2026 will be when it opens, and in December I'll kind of like post it out and say, "Hey guys, get ready for the next year," because even some of our members that are members now, they have to renew, and if they
Right.
don't renew, then their number's up for grabs.
Right.
So
And it's gonna be a whole new mug.
Okay.
So it's like these are this year's mug. Next year I'm gonna do a different one.
Different style.
So is
Yeah.
it limited to 60?
So right now just 60. And to be honest, that's all I could fit on that rack. But yeah, eventually we might do more. But I think for right now, it works. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That is a great
yeah,
idea.
the fact that 60 people are doing it, it's really cool.
Yeah. So our members' night is typically on a weekday,
Yeah.
like a Tuesday,
Yeah.
and Tuesdays are typically a slower day for probably any brewery, unless they have like a restaurant, And when we have our members' night, that's a packed night,
Yeah, I'm sure 60
Yeah.
people,
Catering.
extra.
and it's worth it. And I like to
I'm
give
jumping on
back
the-
to my members because
Absolutely.
they're loyal and they support. Because these are all people that are loyal to us, are here every week.
Yeah. They're
Like
frequent.
most of them are here
Oh, this is
multiple
definitely
times a
spot.
week.
Well,
We're all beer drinkers. I
That
don't
and-
say anything in the alcoholism. I just say we're all just craft beer heads.
Yeah, there
That's
you
the
go.
terminology.
We enjoy the
Well,
We
flavors.
just enjoy
of
the
beer.
flavors. Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
In any business, frequency is the key.
Yes.
Having
Right.
people come back,
Right.
time
Yeah.
and time
I
again.
think, but look, we talked earlier about it. I think that has to do too with meeting a guy like you with a personality, or your other guy that we met earlier, great personality, or whoever you have up there. This is a spot. Number one, just off vibe, I want to be here. Me personally, I want to be here. Number two, if the bartender and me are hitting it off, and yeah, I'll take it. You got my money now. You know what I mean? Because you can come here, and I think that's why you got the easy 60 cups,
Yeah.
because it's like shit. That ain't no. For me, the extra 4 ounces, like I said, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's even better. What's the size of the mug again?
So it's 20 ounces. So,
Oh,
a pint 16, so you get extra 4.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
What,
killer deal. I'll be looking for
Yeah.
that deal in January.
Hey, man, come on back.
For sure.
so what are the hours here, just so we can put that out there?
Okay, so during the week we open at 5, and we close at 10, except for Wednesday, which is today. Karaoke is our Wednesday, and people they love being here, so
Okay.
we'll stay open an extra hour till 11.
Oh,
Nice,
okay.
nice.
And then on the weekends, Friday, Saturday. So Friday's from 5 to midnight, and then Saturday's 1 to midnight, and then Sunday's just 1 to 8.
Gotcha.
But you're open every day here.
We're open every day.
Love
People
it.
can drink metabolic beer any day of the week.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Doesn't matter what day it is.
Yeah.
You want to be
Except for some holidays. We did close Memorial Day, so yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's nice.
Talking on vibes, and you just said you guys have karaoke on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
What other day? I know you have multiple.
So, okay, so we have our amazing host, Tipsy Entertainment. Shout out to them, Lorena and Daniel. So they host our karaoke. They've been doing it for almost 2 months now. It's been doing really, really well. And tomorrow is the first trivia that they're going to host, and it's going to be serial killer trivia.
I'm
Ashley.
gonna have to show up.
If you guys want to show up, it's going to be fun. 2 hours of serial killer trivia. And,
We-
and they have prizes, their own prizes, which I thought was fantastic.
You're like,
they're providing
I
their
don't gotta pay for that. Hell yeah.
well, it's just the fact that they have prizes that is like wowed me, because I usually give prizes for stuff as well, and I probably will have something to give
Right.
tomorrow as well, but they're providing prizes. So
Wow.
that's cool.
Is there something every day of the week, or is that only?
Yeah, so Mondays, if you can see my shirt, it's Metal Mondays. So if you can read this, it's all black metal written. I'm a big metalhead, so Metabolic Brewing Co. And then I'm just going to stand up real quick and show you the back.
Yeah.
Metal Mondays at Metabolic Brewing Co.
Ontario,
Ontario,
California.
California.
Nice.
Dope shirt.
That's dope. I love
on
the
my shirt.
colorway on that.
Definitely the retro style.
So
Yeah.
we take pride in that. Metal Mondays, like I said, I love metal. I played in bands and stuff, and I just love the genre. So Metal Mondays, even though it's a slower day because it's Monday, it's a day I take pride in. That's why I made a shirt. And then Tuesdays, we do Loteria, which is Mexican bingo. And then Wednesdays, karaoke. Thursdays is Thirsty Thursday, so we usually do one of our beers is $5 all day long. Plus, we have happy hour Monday through Thursday every day, 5 to 8. But Thursday also, we're going to start incorporating trivia every other Thursday.
Okay.
And then the opposite Thursday is going to be Industry Thursday. So we'll have it to industry people can come in and get a nice discount as well.
Oh, nice.
And then Friday, Saturday, we have live entertainment. It's usually live music. We've also done comedy. We've done magic, all kinds of cool stuff. And then Sunday is more of the chill day. And we've had brunch. We've had Just Vegana come in, and they've done brunch, which is really, it's vegan food. But vegan brunch, it's really fun. And then we usually do like a special. We're going to do beer mimosas.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then just like, we usually do board games and embrace the gaming side. And we're going to start doing we've done chess night before, and I want to incorporate like a Smash Brothers tournament, stuff like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know you have a little nook over here in corner
Yeah.
of games people can grab and look at too.
Yeah, a lot of board games, comic books, and we usually play like little clips of like cartoons and just like stuff that's fun, like old
Right,
school
right.
Alfred Hitchcock, stuff like that.
And where can people follow you online, your socials, so they
Yeah,
can
so
always?
Metabolic Brewing Co. at Metabolic Brewing Co. On Instagram, and just Metabolic Brewing on TikTok.
There we go.
We do have a Facebook as well. It's not as popular. I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't go on Facebook as much.
Right.
Yeah.
But TikTok is really starting to take off. We actually had a video that went viral thanks to Virginia, who's someone that works here, and she also does our content.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And she did this video, and it's just basically showing you what's inside our space. And we got like 166,000
Nice.
views on it.
Nice.
Sweet.
So yeah, it was great, and we had a ton of people that week when it posted that came in. Oh, we saw your TikTok, and we still have people showing up.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's always a good spark right there when something like that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Increases business, and more people get to know about your establishment. You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah, make sure you guys do follow that on Instagram. So Instagram's your most active. Like you're posting what's going on.
So I run the Instagram, and I do. That's the thing about me as well. Is like I mean, a lot of people now can go on Canva and do all these flyers and stuff, and I use it now too. But I like doing graphic design, but didn't doing it for years, and just I like making flyers and doing different mimicking of different images and stuff. And so I take pride in doing that. And then also just kind of like, all the marketing that to promote our business, our beers and everything I like doing. And then Virginia, like I said, she took over. I had no knowledge about TikTok. I knew I had to do it, but it's a different beast
Yeah.
than Instagram.
100%.
And she knew how to do it. And she has a TikTok already. And she's got us some viral videos. So it's like, that's great. So she runs TikTok and I run the Instagram.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I got you. It's all right. Don't worry about it. So you mentioned like you do brunch, and I know you've told us you sometimes cater too. So tell us a little bit about Fresko Eats.
So Fresko Eats is my food business. So the umbrella is Fresko Industries, and it has Fresko Eats and also Fresko Essentials. So if anybody comes in here, if you look in the corner over there, that's all the jewelry, and my wife makes it.
Oh, nice.
So she makes jewelry, and she also does soaps and all kinds of like craft, made stuff. And I actually started making soap, and then I just don't have time to do it anymore. And she kind of took over with the soap.
A lot of hobbies.
Yeah, I did a rosemary IPA soap actually.
Oh, wow.
From the beer. So I did beer soap, and but now she's kind of fully running Essentials now. And then on the food side, I started doing vegan food. I was vegan for a couple of years. I still promote veganism. I just certain things I'm not promoting. I don't really promote certain brands.
Yeah.
Right.
And I try to keep it more healthy. And I use olive oil, avocado oil, no seed oils, and I try to keep it. Our slogan is gourmet burgers with health in mind, because that's what we
Okay.
specialize in is burgers. But we've also done bowls and tacos and different kinds of food, hot dogs, whatever.
Right. Right.
But I usually do one event a month. It's Vegan Vibes, which is in Grand Terrace.
Okay.
It's by Vegan Corner Pizzeria, which is my friend Diego who owns it. And I actually have a shared kitchen over there, so I do food prep over there. And so we do, that event once a month. And I actually have been getting a lot of offers recently. I've had to decline because I'm so busy with the brewery, but there's Oak Glen and Ontario and all these other cities that want Fresko Eats. And there's actually Before I opened the brewery, there was talks of me opening a restaurant, and now I'm just thinking of merging the two. So down the
There you
road,
go.
I would love to have a second Metabolic location with Fresko Eats as the kitchen.
Nice.
So that's kind of the
That's
vision.
awesome.
That's the vision. So hopefully one day we'll get to that point.
Nice.
That's a lot. You do a lot, man.
I just love bringing flavors to people, whether it's a beverage or food, and,
Right.
I love cooking at home, and and I love making beer. So it's like let's bring it all
Perfect.
together.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of flavors. That's for sure. A lot of different spices and mixes.
Because
Sounds like you
the
can't
way
turn your brain
the
off.
way to someone's happiness is to their tummy, right?
Yeah.
That's
There
right.
you go.
That's what they say, at least.
Yeah.
Feels like you can't turn your brain off though. You're thinking of so much all the time.
Yeah.
How do you kind of like disconnect and have your own time and I know you said this is what you love.
Yeah,
so-
and that's the thing is that if I have any free time, it's usually just writing down ideas for what's next or new things. Whether it's for Metabolic or for Fresko Eats, or I played music for a lot of years, and I've had some friends of mine that I used to play music with that want to restart playing music again, and I've actually would love to do. So we have open mic here at Metabolic. And I've considered doing just like a jam session here and just like, get on my guitar, play, get a drummer friend or maybe a bass or keyboardist and just do that, because I love making music, and
Right.
I still, one of these days, I want to release a full album. I haven't done it, but yeah.
Somewhere in there, you'll find the time, I'm sure. Somewhere in there.
The creativeness is always there, but, business has to take first,
That's
It
right.
has to be
That's
your
right. It's got to be your
priority.
priority almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you'd mentioned before, you're actually a part of a guild.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. That'd
Sure.
be-
Yeah, so we have a guild here in the Inland Empire. It's called the Inland Empire Brewers Guild. I was elected president in January. We have 30 or so active brewery members, but there's more and more that are adding and partaking. Now, Inland Empire is a very massive region. I mean, we're talking out here like Rancho, Ontario, down to Corona, Riverside, and all the way to Marietta, Temecula, and then up in the high desert, and then all the way in the other desert by like Coachella Valley.
Right.
So it's like, it's so massive.
And in between all that.
Yeah, and everything in between. Yeah, so it's like, it's very large, and even Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead, like
Right.
everything. It's all part of the IE. So
Right.
yeah, just trying to manage all that. It's a lot, but I love all these breweries. I want to support them as much as my own. And we're actually having a beer fest next month.
That's what I'm looking forward to right
June
there.
21st. It's the IE Brewers Guild Beer Fest. It's going to be Fiesta themed. So far, we have over 30 breweries with a winery and homebrew as well. We're trying to grow that more. We also have food vendors, retail vendors. My friend who's going to DJ like Latin music the whole time, and
Okay.
we have a
Fun.
band that's going to play like classic rock. And then we're going to have a dunk tank where you can actually pay to, throw at a target and dunk some of us, maybe myself, maybe some other brewers, and
Nice.
and just KCAL radio station, they're sponsoring, and then also Mountain Malt, which is they make malt for breweries and stuff,
Okay.
So they're both sponsors, and it's going to be a great, awesome event.
Sounds like fun.
We do it
Yeah.
every year. And there actually is guilds all over. So there's LA Guild, San Diego, OC, and up north there's some guilds as well. So yeah, we're gonna try and get some of them from their guilds to be guests at our spot as well.
Nice.
So hopefully I can announce some big names soon.
Sweet.
Where's that at?
It's in Norco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit south of here. It's a great town over there, Horsetown.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's really cool too how you guys are all supporting each other and coming together and throwing something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because in any small business, right? I don't know if you guys consider yourselves a small business
Oh,
or
yeah.
breweries in general, but like for us, for example, one of the reasons we did do the whole season of just small businesses where we're going around. We had our buddies on that all have small businesses, in the support system that we try to give, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you guys as the guild, like you just said, you have over 30 different breweries. You guys all sell beer.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it's about supporting each other, bringing people together. To try all the different styles of beer. And instead of, you can easily be like, oh no, man, we're not gonna do business with them because they sell beer and they sell beer. Because we're in the same boat,
So
right?
this is why I love this industry, is because the brewery industry specifically, not just the alcohol or beer industry, but specifically the brewery industry. It is a brotherhood, sisterhood.
That's awesome.
A lot of us are just so close, and we promote each other's businesses, and that's why we do collaborations with each other, which I'm
Nice.
trying to do more of in the IE.
Right.
Because there's other guilds where I feel like they do collabs much more than we do, and we're trying to do more of it.
Right.
And that's another thing we're trying to do soon, actually, by this week. We're going to do a collaboration beer with multiple breweries in the IE that's going to be served at the festival.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so you'll have a bunch of breweries that are big in the IE. They're going to make a beer to serve. And that's just saying that it's just we're all in it together
Right.
to support each other, you know?
And I think, again, that drives the focus of what we're doing here today is spreading awareness of all the small business community. Exactly what you guys are going to do that day
Yeah.
is bringing all these breweries, small, big, medium, whatever, but you're bringing them together so that everybody can kind of, advertise and promote and
Yeah.
have
Grow
people
together.
grow together, the whole nine. That's
Absolutely.
an awesome
Well, I
focal
got
point.
20 questions left, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We said, well, we got to go in 10, so
No, I'm joking.
too bad.
Just to sum it up, what's the future hold for Metabolic Brewing Co?
So what the future in my mind is, and I'll be completely honest, is that unfortunately we've outgrown this spot. We are putting out a lot of beer, and we're going to put out more beer, and our weekends have gotten to the point where people can't fit in here.
Oh wow.
So we're going to look for expanding to another location. We want to keep this spot, and we need to get a second spot, and we need to get a bigger spot. And I want to do, if it were my dream, it would be with a stage,
Oh,
have live shows almost every day.
entertainment, food.
Yes,
beer.
just everything. Get everyone to be in one space where they can get good quality drinks,
Yeah.
good quality food, a great vibe, and then also tailored to my community, our community, the
Right.
horror and alternative community.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That is exciting. Well, that wraps it up, guys. I'm just kidding.
Is that all we have?
That's
for
all the
you guys?
questions,
You
yeah.
20
There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
the last question.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Oh,
I
for
mean, it's
sure.
been
But
fun.
before we end, I'm very curious. See, you're a horror fan, and we did when we had that
Yeah.
season. But what would be your favorite horror film or scary movie?
My favorite was probably going to be Day of the Dead.
Really?
Yeah, I love zombies. I mean, and I'm even wearing Beer Zombies.
Yeah, I
So
was
this is
gonna
zombies. So Beer Zombies is actually a brewery in Vegas, but but just their logo is basically a zombie with a hop as his beard.
I think I've
And,
seen
like,
that.
Big
Yeah.
shout out to Beer Zombies, but I just love zombie films.
Okay.
I mean,
That's
even
definitely a
modern
classic one.
stuff. Like I just saw the trailer for 28 Years Later.
Ah.
Like I'm super down for that. And I was
Yeah.
a huge Walking Dead fan. So I mean, I even watched all the spin-offs and everything. So
Really?
It's like, yeah.
So you're caught up in The
I-
Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'm one of the few.
I was just
Honestly.
gonna
A
say.
lot of people fell off, but you know what? After Glenn died, I still kept watching.
Wow, Glenn died. Wow.
Yeah, I read the comics.
Wow.
I have every single comic book, and I collect them all. And yeah, so I mean, I just love the genre. I mean, I love horror, but specifically the zombie genre.
Right.
So yeah, all my favorites are in the
Did you
zombie
ever get
genre.
to experience the? It was called the Walker Stalker Con.
Yes, I went actually.
Did you? Which
yeah,
one did you
I
attend?
went to what year was that? It had to have been like 2017 or
Frisco?
2016.
San Francisco?
No, the one I went to was in San Diego.
Okay.
So it was down the
Yeah.
street from Comic Con.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually met, if people know Walking Dead, I met Merle and also
Yeah.
Gareth, who was the leader of the Cannibals from one of the seasons.
Nice.
And Beth and also Herschel.
Oh,
And
okay.
Tyrese
Herschel.
as well. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so,
Interesting.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that's any other questions, anybody?
No, again, this is Metabolic Brewing Co. guys in Ontario. So make sure you come check it out. Have a good time here.
Great vibe, great beer.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and talking to us about
Thanks
it.
for being our
Of course.
first guest back. This is
Yeah,
our
it's
first.
exciting.
I think we have an official name, right? What's
Yeah,
it
it's
gonna
going to
be?
be
Damn, he blanked
He
on me.
already forgot. He already forgot.
Come on, man.
Spooky Spotlight.
Spooky,
Spooky
Spotlight.
I like that.
Spotlight,
That's good.
I like that.
So you will be the first official Spooky Spotlight because this is something that we want to do again. Other businesses, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and bringing them on with the vibe and the whole nine. So, but again, we really appreciate you having you on and being the first guest that we bring on in this season. And yeah.
Yeah,
Any-
that's
anything
it.
else?
No.
I appreciate you guys. And
No,
once
thanks for
again,
having us,
thank
man.
you.
Thanks for letting us take over your brewery for a couple hours.
He's like, now get out. I have to open
Yeah,
the
for a
doors. Busy Wednesday today.
All right, guys. Well, you have it here, Metabolic Brewing in the city of Ontario. Come check them out. Great beer, great vibe, guys. Thank you for listening. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.